Hello, this is Dumont here to do a major update. I guess you could call this my vlog, if you will. As scheduled, by Monday for sure, I will have a Do Monday video. This time I'm going to be talking about the Gundalian invaders, so hopefully you'll find that a little bit interesting. Moving along, I've been super busy with work. As you know, I teach martial arts and stuff. Because of that, I'm still buying new toys for sure. So I look forward to doing some reviews on the new toys that are definitely coming up for you guys. But also, I purchase a lot of knives. It goes with my work. It's for self-defense, and it's also a hobby. And just to give you an idea, the knives are way more expensive than the toys. So I'm spending most of my stuff on the knife stuff. My time and money and stuff like that. And just to give you an idea, like with some of the purchases I've made, I could have gotten a Fort Max instead. So, that just gives you an idea right there. So right here, you see the Lego toys that I've recently purchased. This is just some of them. And, this is, of course, to go with my Armageddon stuff. And as far as the Transformers comic book reviews go, I just have 3 more issues that I have here with me, and then I'm done. And after that, I can move on to other comic book reviews. So, almost done with that. Okay, so for my next toy review that is coming up, there's a little bit of brief history that I want you guys to understand with the toys that I have been collecting. There is like a whole, kind of like a formula that's going on. Okay, it's not just random toys that I'm just buying out of nowhere. In Japan, there is something called a gashapon, which is your capsule toys, right? Over here, they're the vending machines. And in Japan, those capsule toys are backed by major companies, one of the most famous being Bandai. So that's like basically Hasbro backing one of these vending machines and making quality good toys, which it does happen once in a blue moon over here. So once in a blue moon, we have seen some decent capsule toys and stuff. But in Japan, they're constantly doing it. It's like a staple thing over there. So when I went to Japan, when I was just a little boy, I remember one of the first ones that I saw was Ultraman. And the whole idea was they're these small small soft rubber type capsule toys, and you're supposed to collect them, of course, collect the different characters, and the main idea was to paint them. And if you're a fan of any of the miniature war games, you know what I'm talking about. The painting detail, it's a whole hobby in itself. And but if you don't want to paint them, that's perfectly fine. Just collect the toys, So there's no problem with that. The next one that I remember seeing, and the one that was immensely popular, was called Kinnikuman. Kinnikuman over here, you guys know as Muscle. Millions of unusual small creatures lurking everywhere. Which is, I don't have the original, but it's this guy right here. This is from the Muscle line. As you know, this one is a custom toy, which done by Wolf here on YouTube. And I think is an immense improvement over the original. But anyway, this is basically the mold of the original Muscle. This one came years, decades later, but it's a rebirth of this one, and this one is called Ultimate Muscle, which maybe some of you guys have seen, right? And this one right here is the Marvel's handful of Marvel Universe guys, and to me they're very similar, like in size-wise. They're kind of compatible, not really, but they're basically. If this existed in Japan, it easily would have been a capsule toy, so that's why it's here. And Bakugan, maybe it's a little bit too big to be a capsule toy, but it goes along with the same concept as these things. They're collectible small toys, and they've improved it so much to the point where you could actually play a game with it. There's so much more to it, so that's one of the reasons why I like Bakugan. But there is kind of like a connection going on, and the next toy that I'm going to do is called SD Gundam, right? SD Gundam to me was kind of like the mother of Bakugan, the mother of Yu-Gi-Oh, the mother of Pokemon, because what it did was it followed along the lines of Muscle Man and like I said, the Ultraman capsule toys, but it took it to the next level. They did all kinds of crazy things to improve, to make the toys more collectible, more variety. You know, they just really expanded upon it, eventually to where they actually made a card game for it. And that's when the huge rise later on became like Pokemon. At first it was SD Gundam and Dragon Ball. That's all there was, I remember. Those were the first cards that came out at the time, and I was in Japan right around at that time that came out, so I saw the first rise of that, and that later transformed into a playable, a much better playable game like Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, and now we have Bakugan, you know, being so far like pretty much the last evolution to these small capsule toys.